Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies. And this is Simon the Magician. An article from Rosicrucian Digest, Volume 30, Number 1, January 1952. Simon the Magician. Most Christians have heard of Simon the Magician, or Simon the Magus, as he is called. In the Bible, it is stated in the Acts of the Apostles that he had a great following because of his power to bewitch people through the use of sorcery. It is also stated in that book that Simon became a believer in Christianity, and that after he had been baptized, he worked under the Apostle Philip. When, in the course of his association with the apostles, Simon saw that by the laying on of hands, the Holy Ghost descended, he offered the apostles money in return for the power they had to give. It was then that Peter rebuked him with the words, "Thy money perish with thee, because thou hast thought that the gift of God may be purchased with money. Thou hast neither part nor lot in this matter, for thy heart is not right in the sight of God." In the early Christian records, it is stated that Simon the Magician was the son of Antonius and Rachel of Samaria, who came from the village of Geta. Simon had disciplined himself greatly in Alexandria and had become very powerful in magic. He was also ambitious to be known as having supreme power, greater even that of God. It is related in the old records that he even called himself Christ, and that he wanted to be known as the Standing One, thereby intimating that he was free from any corruption in his body. Thus, he was charged with failure to give God glory. Simon also rejected Jerusalem as the place of worship and submitted to Mount Gerizim instead. In the course of time, he proclaimed himself in the place of Christ. Simon had been the foremost disciple of John the Baptist, and upon the death of the latter, he became the logical successor to John. While, however, he was absent in Egypt, another disciple by the name of Dositheus, who also wanted to be the successor to John, started the rumor that Simon had died, with the result that Dositheus was chosen to head the movement upon Simon's return to Palestine. He learned what had been done in his absence. However, he did not displace Dositheus, knowing that a man who had attained power beyond his expectations cannot be removed from the position he has secured. In the course of time, Simon journeyed to Rome. The Emperor Nero had sent for him to demonstrate his miraculous powers. Standing before the ruler, Simon assumed the forms of different persons. First he became a child, then a little old man, and later a young man. The emperor was so impressed that he believed the sorcerer to be truly the Son of God. But the apostle Peter, observing what was happening, proved that Simon was both a liar and a wizard, and in all things opposed to the truth of God. Simon, however, not willing to be defeated, appealed to the emperor on the plea of the magician. The emperor, therefore, called Peter, Paul, and Simon to appear before him. In the course of the trial, Simon demonstrated his powers. As his greatest feat, he set out to fly. The emperor was duly convicted of his sincerity, but when Peter and Paul began to pray, the magician fell down and perished. Simon claimed great powers. He said he could render himself invisible. He boasted that he could dig through the mountains and pass through rocks as if they were clay. He said he could throw himself from a mountain and could be born unhurt on the earth. He claimed he could loose his bonds if he were tied. He could make the prison doors open on their own accord. He asserted he could animate statues and make new trees spring up and sprout. He maintained that he could go through fire unharmed. Also that he could change his countenance so that he could not be recognized and thereby show people that he had two faces. He also claimed he could change himself into a sheep or a goat, proclaiming that whatever he wished to do, he could perform. In other words, he knew many of the traditional tricks of the clever magician. But when he was confronted by the genuine power of God, his deceptions always failed. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.